One of the fastest ways to damage your IELTS speaking score is also one of the most common pieces of advice online, and that is memorizing answers. So I'm a real IELTS examiner, and let me explain why memorized answers usually reduce your score instead of improving it. Now, first, I completely understand why candidates do this, and it's because lots of candidates have a fear of freezing, a fear of not knowing what to say, a fear of mistakes. They want to feel control, and memorization feels safe. But unfortunately, what we're examining during the exam as examiners is communication. And memorization is a very low level form of communication, so therefore it lowers your score. Now, experienced examiners can usually recognize memorized answers very quickly. I have myself in thousands of speaking exams. There is an unnatural rhythm, there's overly polished language, suddenly all the grammar changes, the chunking of language changes, the intonation changes, the use of language changes, and there's a sudden loss of fluency when they're interrupted. Real communication sounds flexible, and memorized communication sounds fixed. Memorization lowers your score in the exam because fluency suddenly becomes fragile. As soon as the conversation changes slightly, the candidate normally struggles. In addition, vocabulary sounds unnatural. Candidates often memorize language they don't fully control, which makes them sound very strange to a native speaker examiner. And the pronunciation becomes less natural. The speech rhythm often sounds rehearsed and is conversational. And just in general, if someone did this in your language, you would hear it immediately. And as examiners and native speakers, we can also hear it, and it sounds very odd during the exam. So stronger candidates, what they do, the ones who get band 7 and above, is that they practice giving their opinion about lots of different ideas. In addition, they practice doing the presentation for part 2 during the exam and giving lots of clear details. When they've done lots of practice of those types of questions, they feel a lot less nervous when they come to the exam because they've done it many times before, and they can do it naturally, and they don't need to memorize because they've already done lots of practice of the most common topics that they have in the exam. Memorized answers might feel safe, but they usually create much weaker communication. And you cannot trick the examiner. I've seen lots of candidates try. So natural, flexible English always scores higher. And if you'd like real explanation from someone who has marked thousands of speaking exams, then subscribe to this channel and I will continue giving you lots of help for your exam.